Good evening. Welcome to Star Talk. I'm Ken Eccles, and we actually have somebody on the phone right now, and I think it's Early Bird. Is that you, Early Bird?
Yeah, that's me, Ken. What did have you on the program talking? About putting your phone up, and
Oh,
now it's got that Ken Eccles Star News Live.
okay. Well, I don't know.
I'm on
I,
cable. I'm on cable now. Now you back on. Now I can see you with on the phone
yeah,
in your ear.
yeah. We're on
Yeah,
right now, so go right
you,
ahead.
we was talking about them boiled eggs, right?
Yes.
Well, it was on Channel 12 today. I couldn't believe it. I said, I wonder if somebody called Channel 12 and asked, but they was talking about boiled eggs, how you can tell they're bad. It showed them putting them in water. One floated up to the top and the other one stayed down.
Oh, really?
But yeah, and I was talking to somebody on the phone and I had the phone cut down and, uh, they were showing some guy taking the fork and pushing the yellow. I don't know what he was doing that for. I wished I had the volume up so I could hear what he was doing about that egg. But
Okay. Well, I don't know
anyway, it
about
showed
that. But I got another email. Hang on a second. I got another email
okay.
last night after we went off the air. This email showed up about boiled eggs, and if it
Uh huh.
doesn't take me too long to find it, I'll read it to you.
Okay.
Here it is. Oh, the emailer says, take a glass of water, put the egg in. If it floats, it's old, and if it sinks, it's good. And you store
Yeah.
your eggs. He says you store your eggs in the refrigerator with the pointy end up. I don't know why, but that's what he says. But anyway, he says also if it floats, it's bad, and if it sinks, it's good.
Well, I've been leaving mine in the carton because my refrigerator ain't got. I had a refrigerator where you could put your eggs, but it don't have one in this one. So I just been leaving them in the carton, take them out when I get them out of the carton.
Well,
But
you
they
can
been
turn them pointy side up in the carton, I guess.
yeah. So put the point side up.
That's what this man says.
Okay. Okay. And I found some black walnuts. Uh, well,
Where'd
my
you get
wife
them?
did. She found them. She found them at Walmart. Them
Oh,
thing was
good.
12 ounces. 12 ounces was $9.
12 ounces for $9.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Se-
I said,
75 cents
well,
an ounce.
I guess, and but I told her, I said, well, golly, you can make plenty of 2 or 3 boxes of bread of all them nuts.
Okay, did you get them?
Yeah, she bought them. She got the walnuts. She bought them. She's gonna make some. I don't know when she's gonna make them. She's gonna make some brownies. But
Okay.
what else I was gonna? I was gonna ask you something. Uh, darn it, what was it? I was gonna ask you something.
Well, I,
I'm darn lost what I was gonna ask you.
well, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh, 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 oh! I'm gonna go ahead and pick my. I'm gonna go ahead and pick my driver too while I'm at it for
Okay, for
next. Not
Talladega.
this Sunday. Yeah, for Talladega, I'm gonna take Danny Hamlin.
Okay, Early Bird takes the 11 for Talladega. It's in the book.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you something, darn it, and I'm darn plumb forgot.
Well,
What was it I was gonna ask?
I probably wouldn't have known the answer.
Yeah, you would too. Somebody would have called in and noted, but if I can think of, but anyway, I wish I could remember what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks for calling. 11 for Early Bird for Talladega. For those of you who keep up with the picks, I emailed out the picks that I have. We don't have a whole lot yet, which is not too surprising considering the race isn't until weekend after next. But I mailed out the ones that I have, and I mailed out to the folks who communicate with me by email, mailed out the standings. The picks so far, Nice Guy has the 11, Early Bird has the 11, both of them have the 11. Mr. Draper has the 24, Mark from Mayodan has the 5, Charles from Danville has the 22, and Leon has the 8. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, kids, Mark from Marion.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
That's good. The question that early bird was probably going to ask you is probably what is the cell phone number or the text number where you can text in for the race?
Oh, is that what he was going to ask me?
He probably want to know that text number where he text you and tell you what number you want to pick on the race or whatever.
Okay.
You said something about last night. You was gonna give a number out where people can text you and.
Yeah, you can. Do you need it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can text. Here's what, if you want to text your race pick in, you can text to 336 589 7282. That's where you can text.
Did you say 336 589 7282?
That is right. Now let me say this. That is only for you to text in your race predictions. That's
Okay.
we use that number exclusively to text race predictions. 336-589-7282. We're not using it for anything else.
Okay. I was going to remind you and Charles and Danville about the Masked Singer tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on Fox 8 or Fox Station.
8 o'clock tomorrow night on your local Fox affiliate. We are reminded.
Okay. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Mark. Good night. Phone line open at that number up there. The email address is keneckelslive@gmail.com. And we have this email that says, Ken, I heard that Big Lots is coming back. Is that true? Have you heard anything about that? I have heard something about that, and I'll say what I've heard in just a minute. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, good evening, Ken. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to call in and let some of the listeners, if it's any dirt track racing fans out there, that it's going to be a little track that's opening back up in Ararat, Virginia, which is in Patrick County next week. And like I say, it's going to be some dirt track racing in areas for the fans that like to go see it.
Well, I know we have some dirt track racing fans around here, some who watch this show. That's in Ararat, Virginia, in Patrick County.
That is correct. Go up through Sandy Ridge and up through that way on Route 8, and it's right up in that area there.
What's the name of the track, Leon?
You know, it used to be Friendship Raceway years ago, but I don't know what it is right now.
Okay. Well, that's good news. And tell us again when the opening date is.
I think the opening day is at the end of this month because they're going to have some practice starting Saturday up there.
All right. Dirt track racing. That's a whole different animal.
Yes, that's some real racing, not riding around on Sundays.
Oh yeah. If you can control one on dirt, then you're doing something.
Yeah, my son, he's bought him an old car, and he's going to try the Crown Vic series up there. That's how I know they're getting ready to open up. But if I could find out the any more information, I'll pass it along.
Well, do that, Leon. If you can find out the name of it, if you can find out an address for, I guess it'd be pretty easy to drive to Ararat, and pretty much anybody would be able to tell you where the racetrack is because it's not a big city. But anything more you can find out, let us know.
I certainly will, Ken, and appreciate you taking my call.
Thanks, Leon. Okay, folks, a chance to see another place to see dirt track racing in Ararat, Virginia. I probably pronounce it wrong. I actually know somebody who is from there. He pronounces it Ararat. I know somebody else who is not from, somebody else from Patrick County who pronounces it Ararat. So So I guess take your pick. Arid. We'll go with Arid since that's how Leon says it. Anyway, maybe Leon will get us more information on that if he gets any, because I know a lot of folks will be interested in that. Big Lots. Emailer wants to know if Big Lots is coming back. It is, sort of. Um, in North Carolina, Big Lots in, hello, caller. Hang on 1 second, caller. In North Carolina, Big Lots is going to open in Asheboro in late in April, and then there'll be more Big Lots open. I don't know all the locations, but there'll be more Big Lots opening in North Carolina in May. So it is making a comeback. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ken.
Good evening.
Well, I picked me a winner this week, I bet you.
Who did you pick? You picked the 22.
Yes.
All right, but it's next week. It's not this week.
Oh, I know. I checked the schedule on this week. I think it's just truck, and I think it's Xfinity this week. I think.
Are they racing Xfinity? Because this is Easter weekend. I didn't realize they would race at all on Easter weekend.
Okay, hold on. There will be the Black Tire 200. That will be Friday night. That'll be Friday night at 5 p.m. That's the truck.
Where's that?
On channel FS1.
Okay, Fox Sports 1. All right.
Yeah. Okay, Saturday, the North Carolina Educational. It'll be at 4 o'clock on your local Channel 5.
That's the Xfinity race.
Yes, sir. Channel 5 has got all the Xfinity races locked up.
Okay. Well, now it's not Channel 5 for everybody.
No, it's on your WCWD. Oh, WCW5, your local station.
Okay. All right.
It will be on.
All right.
It'll be on when you.
No cup race this weekend, but we do have trucks and Xfinity.
Yes, and I'm planning on looking at both.
All right. Well, good for you. That'll keep you out of trouble, at least while you're watching the race.
Well, according to the weatherman, after Good Sunday, the weather is going to be warming up in the morning.
Well, considering that it's the middle of April, I think that's a pretty good bet that the weather is soon going to be warming up in the morning.
Oh, yeah. That means I'm not taking the reserve ride.
You're not taking what?
I'm not taking my regular route, the reserve ride bus system.
Oh, I see. What are you're going to be on the moped?
Yes, and I'm going to be free to go anywhere I want.
Well, folks, be warned. This is maybe your final notice that soon Charles from Danville will be free to go anywhere he wants to go. That should concern us all. It certainly concerns me.
Well, if you see the black Cadillac ahead of me, that means I'm somewhere nearby, maybe.
All right, we'll make a note of that.
Well, Ken, I thank Mark from Mayodan for reminding me about the Masked Singer. I definitely got to see it because I got to find out. I'm going to announce our winner pretty soon.
Okay, we're waiting for that.
Okay, bye, sir.
Thanks for calling. All righty. Phone line is open. There's a number up there. You can email Ken Eccles live at gmail.com. This Big Lots thing, I had a list here. Of course, I've lost the list and can no longer find it. But I do know Asheboro. The first one that's going to open is in Asheboro. And that's late this month. And then about 2 weeks after that, others will begin to open. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Ken?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I heard they was going to reopen 268 stores for Big Lots nationwide. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's 200 and some. So I'll take your word for it. It's 268 because I lost my list.
Yep. Well, I got you, Ken. I want to make my pick for Talladega next week.
All right, Mr. Pelham is making his Talladega pick. What is it?
I'm going to pick the number 23, Bubba Wallace.
Mr. Pelham picks the 23 Bubba Wallace for Talladega. It's in the book.
Thank you, sir. You know, I doubt if I'll have a whole lot of people following me on that chase on that pick, but you know, anybody can win at Talladega or Daytona. Not that I'm saying Bubba cannot, but I think that's a track he might pull one off.
Well, you know, it's a roll of the dice at Talladega. You're right. Absolutely anybody could end up winning at Talladega. And he does well. He's done pretty well in restrictor plate races too. So he seems to have a little bit of skill at restrictor plate racing. So it could be him.
I hope so, Ken. I mean, he's had a fast car this season too. He's been awful competitive, you know, but
he's had a lot of good finishes. A lot of good
Yeah.
finishes.
Yep. I probably shouldn't tell you this on the air, but I think I'll go ahead and let it leak out because,
What?
you know, I guess, man, you probably the only one to hear it since you don't have a large audience. Not. You got a big audience. Anyway, Ken, but I know where Mark from Mayodan is moving.
You know where Mark from Mayodan is moving?
Yeah. Remember
Are you
last night?
Are you at liberty to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, where's he moving?
The Philippines.
The Philippines?
Yes.
Seriously?
Well, you know, Charles from Danville has got this a lady friend from the Philippines, so I'm thinking that Mark from Mayodan and Charles might be, you know, working on this thing together. I don't think Charles has moved yet, but you know, we'll see.
All right. So not seriously. I can see Charles. I can certainly see Charles from Danville moving to the Philippines and trying to take over the government. I don't know. I don't know if Mark would do that or not, but I wouldn't put it past Charles to try to make himself dictator of the Philippines.
No, I can see him loading up that moped on the ship right now. You know what I mean? But is what it is. What was the outcome of this hearing today they had on Garcia? Did you learn anything, or is it still pretty much on hold as it says?
I don't know that anything has changed. I know that the judge today said the judge ordered a full investigation. I'm not absolutely sure what that means. But the judge said there's going to be a full investigation as to why the administration has not complied, and said that 4 federal officials, 2 from Homeland Security, and I forget the others, but the judge said 4 federal officials will be subpoenaed and sit for depositions to answer questions about what they've done and what they haven't done. And this goes back, I think, to what we said last night, is that this thing will go back to the Supreme Court at some point, and this could be the vehicle that takes it back to the Supreme Court. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you know, since Trump has fired all the inspector generals and you know, pretty much got Congress under his wing, so you know anything he says goes, and with the FBI and the CIA and everybody under Trump's wing too, and especially the Attorney General. I mean, who in the world would give an investigation that was, you know, really worth believing?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It would have to be, it's federal court, so the investigation would have to be carried out by one of the federal prosecuting offices, if not straight out of the Department of Justice in Washington. So again, that's a question. That's the kind of question that could wind up back in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will, but who knows how long it'll take. That guy might be drawing Social Security before it's all over with, before this thing ends up. But no, I hate the way they're doing him, Ken. I mean, the way I see it, he hadn't been charged with a crime yet. And, you know, that being the case, they could pick me or you or anybody else up without a due process hearing or anything and fly us off to who knows where. And, according to Trump and his group, hey, that's legal.
Well, theoretically, based on what we've heard so far, I mean, they haven't done this, but theoretically, if they deport somebody to a foreign country without giving them due process, then the question of due process comes up. They could theoretically say the same thing. Well, we no longer have control of this person. This person's under control of a foreign country. So I guess if that would be the case with Garcia, it would be the case with any U.S. citizen, theoretically.
Yep, that's the scary part, Ken.
Now, if it was a U.S. citizen involved, I don't know anything, but if it was a U.S. citizen involved, I think the Supreme Court probably would react a little more forcefully if it was a case of a U.S. citizen. I think that they would.
Yeah, well, in today's political world, it's hard to tell anymore.
Well, and, like I said, I don't know anything. That's just what I think.
I know what you mean. This deal with Harvard University, too. He wants to cut off $2.2 billion of their funds. And, Ken, that he's messing up on that thing, too, because, if you keep denying colleges to do the research and stuff that they do in science and medicine and everything else, all that's doing is giving those people that wants to do this education thing, to China or other countries that would love to have those people. To me, that's a no-brainer,
Well, Harvard says it's going to go its own way. Harvard says it's going to continue doing what it wants to do in spite of that. Whether Harvard can get the money, I don't know. I guess if there's any university in America that could get the money, it would be Harvard. But that's a lot of money.
It is. It certainly is. But I don't know, Ken. The more tariffs and everything we put on other countries, these other countries looking down and saying, well, I guess we'll just go with somebody else. And, America's on its own, and that's not going to be good for us in the long run, I'm afraid.
Medical research is going to be done somewhere because it's important and it's profitable, and people are going to do that. And new drugs and medicines are going to be researched and developed somewhere. I would hope that it would be here instead of China or somewhere else. But right now, it looks like the odds are with China.
Exactly. That's the scary part. Ken, thanks so much for taking my call, man. I really enjoyed the show.
Thanks for calling. Phone line is open. There's the number. The email address is keneckleslive@gmail.com. You can give us a call or send us an email, whichever works best for you. And let's look at some emails here. Okay, well, I can get rid of this ad. And let's do this. Hi, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Ken.
Good evening.
The odds are not with China. China is about a broken country. China's got 25-story condominium buildings that are sitting vacant. They don't even have roads through the middle of them because they have the one baby policy. And now China is really, really messed up, and they're short of a generation.
They have almost entire cities with nobody living in them.
Yes, they do. Big cities. I'm talking 20, 30-story buildings. Mm-hmm. As far as you can see, practically. And people don't understand what Trump is doing. Well, it's starting to pay off. They're the ones that are advertising now $3 billion a day we're taking in tariffs.
Well, how are we getting that money?
I can't answer that. That's what they say. We've taken in $3 billion a day in tariffs,
Yeah,
and
I know what
last week
I
it
know
was
what
$2
they
billion.
say, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why
Well,
nobody's paying us $3 billion a day?
I don't. That's just what they say, and I can't explain it either.
I agree with you. It's what they say, but
Yeah.
they need to tell me where that money's coming from, and they haven't told me yet.
Well, there's like 50 countries that's made a offer of zero tariffs to us, and so I think Trump has handled the 50 that's offered the zero tariffs to us.
Okay, well that's fine, but that doesn't explain the $3 billion a day that they say we're taking in.
I agree with that. I don't know.
And what
I agree with that.
we just found out
China's
China's
got
last week that no tariffs have even been collected at the ports on the eastern U.S. Even though they were put in place, they never put in any organization or procedure to collect them. So they haven't even started collecting the tariffs on the East Coast yet.
I don't know. All I know is what the news said, and I just repeated it. And
I understand. I know you.
So that's something further to be checked on, investigated a little bit.
Okay.
Excuse me. But as far as Garcia, the El Salvadoran president sat right there beside Donald Trump and said, what can I do? What do you want me to do? Kidnapping him and smuggling him back into the United States? He says it don't work that way. And that man is here. Garcia was here illegally, Ken, from 2019. He was MS-13 member in 2019. He moved here. He came here. He's still affiliated.
Well,
and Trump and Marco Rubio has said on live TV, there is no court system that can tell the president what to do with these people under the Terrorist Enemies Act or whatever it's called. I forget.
The Alien Enemies Act. Yeah, the court said that he can use that. Well, here's the thing with Garcia. Here's the complicated part. I understand. I know I've heard the same things you've heard about how he came into the country. And as far as I know, that's right. But they took him to immigration court in 2019. They took him in front of
him and two others,
an immigration judge, and the judge told them they could not deport him. The judge said this man is not eligible to be deported. So whatever,
because he had stated his life would be at risk if he was sent back.
That is what they said. That's what the judge ordered. So doesn't the government have to obey a judge's order?
Not for someone who's here illegally.
I think they do.
Illegal to start with. Illegal is the number one first thing they did. That supersedes, trumps everything else. So they're illegal to start with. They got to go.
Well, the immigration judge knew that and still told them.
But he's a left-wing immigration judge that Obama appointed, so that they're still out there doing this crazy stuff.
Well,
these judges, these people are trying to disrupt Trump.
I mean,
they're trying to.
A judge is a judge, no matter who appointed him.
And he only has the authority. His authority only reaches so far, unless it's a state's SCOTUS, and their authority doesn't reach over the Alien Enemies Act that Trump is going by. If they're here illegal, they've been declared a terrorist.
The Supreme Court authority does affect that. That's why the Supreme Court had to give approval for him to continue using that, and they gave that approval. They said, yes, he can use it. It's beyond that. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen next. I do know this is going to go back to the Supreme Court, though.
Who even really cares? Who even really cares who of them people get deported? As long as they get deported, who gives a flip about whether they're done a crime or just came across the border illegally. That was their crime. Who gives a flip about these people?
Not
We sure don't. They
not
don't give
many
a flip
people.
about us.
Well, you know, here's
All they
what
want
here's what I do care about. Um, here's what I do care about. I care about what the Constitution says about separation of powers. And I care the Constitution requires the president to faithfully execute laws passed by Congress. And the Constitution says that the courts are a check on the executive branch. I'm afraid that system might be breaking down. And that goes beyond Garcia. We're not talking about Garcia right now. I'm talking about keeping the Constitution, the separation of powers and the checks and balances working the way they're designed in the Constitution. And I think we have to
But
be careful about that.
under the Alien Act, it's nothing that supersedes that.
All right. Well, as I say, I'm not talking about Garcia now. I'm talking about whether or not the government has to obey a court order and whether or not the executive branch has to follow laws passed by Congress. And the Constitution says they have.
Well, but now you're worrying about something that hadn't taken place yet,
Yes,
and not
I
sure
am.
if it's going to.
I am worried about it, and I hope it does it. I hope you're 100% right, and it does it.
And just think, if it don't happen, you've done all that worrying for nothing. I wait till something happens before I worry about it, or if I see it coming, then I worry about it. But I don't worry about nothing until it does happen.
All right.
It
Well,
keeps a whole lot less stress off of me.
then maybe I should try that.
It don't hurt.
Okay.
Hey, I was telling about that Moline plant that I use for my lungs.
Yeah.
I take a capsule of it, Mullein, and I take a capsule a day, and I breathe better now I probably did 20 years ago. And I don't use anything else other than the asthma albuterol inhaler. And you can take that Moline and hang it up, let it dry. When it break like a cracker or a dried up leaf, crumble it up, put it in a blender, whatever, and then put a half an ounce into a quart jar, pour it full with boiling water, let it sit for 4 hours, strain it through like a t-shirt again, and then there's your week to 8 day supply, a quart jar full of Moline liquid for your lungs. You get like a tea and you put sugar in it.
Spell it again, please.
Okay, Moline. I got 1,000 of them growing in my outback out here next to my woods. Is the reason I brought it up.
All right.
I got 1,000 or more.
Spell it.
And it's Mullein. I bought it off Amazon.
Okay.
And you can get it in a liquid form. I got it in a capsule, which is the powder in the capsule, gelatin capsule.
Yeah.
And you take one a day. And it takes a few days for it to start really affecting. It coats your mucous membrane, so anything you breathe or inhale that's not good doesn't irritate your mucous membranes because it's got a coating on them, protecting them because of the Moline. And that's what it does. And you don't cough. I mean, if you got COPD, you're still going to cough. You got that life problem, but it's the best thing I've found so far for breathing. And you can get it on Amazon or find it in your backyard and dry it, crumble it up, crush it up, a half an ounce to a quart jar full of boiling water. Let it sit 4 hours. Pour it through a t-shirt, strain it into another jar, sweeten it to taste, and there's a week to 10 day supply of taking it about 2 or 3 times a day. You can drink it like a coffee cup, put it in the microwave and let it warm up.
Well, I'm glad it's
Like
helping you.
tea. You make a tea out of it. Yo, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, Ken.
Okay, well, thanks.
Okay. Hey, I'm still working on my HVAC under the house.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Oh, man, I need more luck. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, fixing his HVAC. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening to you, Ken.
Good evening.
I'm sorry to wade into this, but can we talk about totalitarianism again?
If you like, go ahead.
Well, from where I sit and what I see and what I hear, clearly we no longer have a democratic republic here. We now have a totalitarian regime run by a tyrant.
You think it's that bad?
Yes, sir. Absolutely point blank. All you have to do is step back, open both eyes, take a look, and then go pick up your dictionary and look up the definition of tyrant and go look up the definition of totalitarianism. It is clear as a book. All you have to do is look and see it. I can give you the 3 tenets of totalitarianism and save you the time if you'd like.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the first, and I've said this to you before, the first is that it prohibits oppositional political parties. Okay?
Okay.
That's the first tenet. The second tenet says totalitarianism disregards and outlaws political claims from opposition groups and individuals. Do you see that?
I understand. Yes, go ahead.
All right, and the third tenet of totalitarianism is it controls the public and private sphere of society.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, but I'm not sure that that's where we are, though, are we?
Ken, it's right there in front of you. How can you say that? It's right in front of you visibly. We see it, we hear it every day.
Well, let's go back to number one. It prohibits opposition political parties, but we still have opposing political parties, don't we?
He is trying to outlaw the other political parties. That's in evidence.
But he hasn't
That
done
is
it, though.
evidence. Plain and simple. He and his cronies and the MAGA minions, whatever you want to call them, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to completely outlaw any oppositional political party. But more importantly, they're disregarding and outlawing political claims from opposition groups and individuals.
All right. Well,
Is that not in it? Do you not see that, sir?
I see that they are certainly they would love to eliminate opposing political parties. Probably, that's certainly something political parties would like to do. As far as prohibiting claims by opposing parties, you give me an example of that one.
Hey, let's begin with this. Let's begin. The first tenet is the first word I gave you is disregard. Disregard and outlaw political claims from both opposition groups, that would be the Democratic Party, and individuals. Could be the gentleman you're talking about from El Salvador.
Well, it could be, but let's...
It's all right there in front of us. When they sit there and they talk about we're trying to do away with DEI, they're trying to disregard and outlaw political claims. Plain and simple. And they're also, the same thing is when they're trying to control the public and private sphere of activity. They're trying to control what we do, both in the public and in our private lives. Plain and simple, it's right there in front of us. Why can't people see it, Ken?
Okay, well, let's go back to a political claim. One political claim was that anyone they arrest for deportation has to have due process in court.
Correct.
It obviously was not being provided. But the Supreme Court has issued a ruling, though, telling them that they have to now give due process for anyone they arrest. So, in that case, didn't they fail to overcome that political claim?
No, sir, because that was disregarded again by the White House. They have poo-pooed that and found 14 different ways to try to sidestep that again. We both see it, plain and simple. It's right there in front of us.
All right. Well, I agree with you that the party in power tries to increase its power, and it tries to increase its power at the expense of the party out of power and at the expense of all its political opponents. I think that's one of the reasons the founders warned us against even having political parties, because that's what they do. Uh, and I don't think this is the first time that we've seen a political party attempt that, is it?
All right. Well, all right. You're trying to focus on just that one. That's fine. I get it. That's the only one where there's any wiggle room at all. Let's move on to the second and third tenets. Why don't we?
All right. Let's do that.
The one of disregarding and outlawing political claims from oppositional groups and individuals. That
Okay. Then let's work with an example. Let's have an example of that a political claim that falls into that category.
Oh well, I can give you a great one. He's still talking about the vote that he lost to Biden. He has disregarded that election the whole time. He has disregarded people who said you did not win that election. He has, in fact, done his best to put his cronies in his cabinet positions, which I understand that they always do that. But in all of these other positions, you know darn good and well that Pam Bondi will never enforce anything the Supreme Court says about in regards to consequences for Donald J. Trump. We know this full hand. It's right in front of us.
All right. That is, I do agree that Pam Bondi's loyalty is not to the Constitution, it is to the president. And that's not the way it's supposed to work. So I agree that that is the case. But I guess my response, other than that, would be, yeah, I don't doubt, I don't question that that they're trying to do everything that you said. Political parties always try to increase their power at the expense of their opponents. So they always do.
Okay.
This right now, we may be seeing it done in a more aggressive way than we've seen it done before, but I don't agree that they have accomplished it. So I guess my disagreement is I don't think we have totalitarianism right now.
All right. Well, you're working real hard to defend him. Let's try number 3 here. Controls the public and private sphere of activity.
All right. I do a lot of things every day in my private sphere of activity, but the government isn't controlling me.
All right. What about their DEI and what they're trying to do with that?
Well, they're trying to eliminate it. And
correct.
They are eliminating it.
That is an attempt to control people in their private sphere of activity.
But that's what government does. Government controls. Every time the government passes a law, they're controlling somebody. That's the nature of it.
Controls the public and private sphere of society.
All right.
All right. I've taken up far too much time. I know your audience is really getting mad at me now.
That's all right.
Because I really was going to stir the pot in a different direction. But the previous caller fired up my ire so much that I have to say to him, sir, you're completely wrong. Step back and take a different look at it, please. Now, with that, I would like to move on and stir the pot, if I could.
All right.
All right. Because originally my thought about calling you was to tell you this. I was raised on a farm. I lived on dirt roads until 1992. All right. I didn't know what blacktop. Where I come from, we had a saying: dirt's for plowing, asphalt's for racing.
Okay.
Have a good evening, Ken.
Well, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. I guess he won't be driving up to Errett to the dirt track. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. Hello. Hello, caller.
Hello, Ken. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh boy, you got them heated up there tonight, ain't you, buddy?
I didn't do it.
Good gracious alive. I don't know, kid. I tell you what, look, this last caller right here, it's sad. It is sad, but I agree with him. I agree with this man 100%. It happened. It haven't happened yet, but it's on its way. Within these 4 years, if we got to go, it's scary. It's so scary because
Well,
everybody he's got, sir.
it's going to be a challenging time. And it's the reason I said earlier to the caller before, when I said to him, I'm not talking about any one case now, not Garcia or any one thing. I'm talking about the principles in the Constitution of checks and balances and how the three branches of government are co-equal and they are supposed to check and balance one another. And the
Right.
courts do have the authority to check the executive branch. And if we ever lose that balance of power, if we ever lose those checks and balances, then we will have lost, basically, we will have lost our status as a free country. And that is the thing that concerns me.
Yeah. And see, Ken, here's the thing. You see what he's trying to do. He's going against the judge order. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is going against the judge's order right here to get this man back over here and this man. They're trying to lie. Everybody in his cabinet right there, if they don't go along with him, anybody that doesn't go along with him, he's in there in the White House going along with hatred from what people had done to him before he became president again. And he's against everybody, and this is the hate this man's got in his heart. And he's going to do this right here for the next 3 years that he's in here, that he's in there. This man has got this hate, and I don't see why people don't see this. People don't see, I don't see how in the world he got in the White House to start with. This man has got all these felonies against him, and then he's going to set up there and call suckers and losers out of the veterans and the wounded warriors. This man is, and people still go along with him. I don't understand it, but I want to get off of this subject right here. Now I want to say something about Charles from Danville, because the fact is, I seen Charles over at the pharmacy here the other well, it's been a little while back, and I tried to get a word in to talk to him, and I started walking towards him, and his guards, the bodyguards, just came up on me. Like I thought they was gonna cut my throat, but I had to bag off.
He had
I had to bag off.
Had his muscle with him, did he?
That's his muscle right there. Yeah, but Charles, he's got. But kid, yeah, I had to get that out right there. But since I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm gonna let you go. But last night when I talked to you, I didn't have much time. But here last night, and I ate some red meat, and I didn't know that I had the gout. And last night about 2:00, I couldn't touch the floor with my left foot.
Oh, no.
I had to go to the doctor today, and he took blood samples, and he's gonna get back with me on this, and told me not to drink any lemonade. I've been drinking lemonade. It's got sodium and chloride and all that in it right there. I can't be drinking that, and I gotta stay away from the red meat and whatnot. So, but I know Mr. Liberal wants to come on, so I'm gonna let him talk a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope you'll feel better.
I appreciate it, kid, and you have a blessed night.
Thanks
Okay.
for calling. Well, then, I better look at the clock, see what time it is. Oh, it's that time. We just have a few minutes left, and we got some emails over here to read. This one says, Ken, this is Citizen D. Gosh, I'm in last place chasing the liberal. It's been tough for Citizen D so far. We both need to pick it up. I'll wait until next week to make my pick for Talladega. What has happened to the Avenger? Or did Pretty Man take him out? Also, did I hear Mark from Mayodan is moving? I hope not out of the Star News viewing area. I don't know if he's moving for sure or not. He said he
Yeah,
might be
Ken, how you doing, brother?
Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
All right, yeah, and I'm going to break mine down quickly.
Okay.
But if China is broke, why are they holding our notes?
Well, China's not broke.
But aren't they holding notes?
Broke than we are.
Aren't they holding notes for the U.S.?
China holds about, I don't know exactly what it is. I think China holds about 6% of our public debt.
Okay. Now, that It would be foolish for a person that's broke to be on the streets out there lending people money, wouldn't it? I done told them people, Ken, they need to lay off of the Kool-Aid. I done said that, and I meant it. And look, another example of what the previous guy was talking about, controlling people. Now, this student that wrote an article in sympathy for Palestine, she was picked up. You saw when them mass people came and picked her up, and then they gonna take and lock her up. Now, this is America, and they holler about the First Amendment. People are entitled to different views, and that is an example, Ken, of how they seek to control it. Now, you say when parties get in, they seek more powers and all like that. But no other party, no other president that I've seen, and I've been here longer than you can, have gone to this extreme, seeking power and control and disregarding the laws and the Constitution. Now, if you know one, please enlighten me.
Well, I guess what I could say is presidents. Well, let's go back to President Obama, for example.
Okay.
President Obama issued an executive order, which, as best I recall, it declared that the parents of people who in the DACA category, the young people who were brought to the country before they were of age, they have legal status, at least right now. He issued an executive order giving their parents legal status. That was challenged. That was challenged in court, and when it went to court, it was declared that President Obama had acted unconstitutionally. He had exceeded his authority as president with that executive order, so it wasn't allowed to stand. So I guess that's an example of another president.
After that ruling was issued. After that ruling was issued by a Supreme Court, did he continue overlooking the wishes of the court or not?
No, he complied
all right.
with the Supreme Court.
He complied with the Supreme Court. Now we have a president not complying with the Supreme Court. They don't you think that man sitting here said, I'm not going to bring it, and talking about he have to smuggle. If the President Trump that has him on $6 million contract, he's only a worker for Trump. If the President of Trump requested him to bring it?
Let me just cut that short just a second, and I will say yes. They can bring Garcia back. When they say they cannot bring him back, they're not speaking correct. They absolutely.
He's lying. He's lying the same way he did about the election. And I know your time is running out, but see, and just like that money, he said we getting every day. He does not tell where it's coming from or what. And he said we got 75 countries kissing up to him, asking what can we do. He never gives the name of them because he gets on TV and lie just like he did the 20 election.
Well, let me say one more thing before we run out of time about the current situation with Garcia.
Okay.
Now, I think everybody understands that they can bring him back. We're paying the president of El Salvador $6 million to house these people for 1 year. So in that event, in that case, the president of El Salvador is working for us, and we can bring him back. But let me also add this. This is not over yet. With the order for hearing today, and the Supreme Court's order for clarification of the lower court order, this will go back to the Supreme Court. This has not yet been finally decided. So let's wait and see what happens.
And see, Ken, since that, I took 10 more people down there to the place. All right, when the plane come back, weren't there empty seats on the plane that you could put one person on if you wanted to?
Yes, there would have been that opportunity. And we are out of time.
Okay, thanks, Ken.
Thanks for calling. That's all the time we have for Star Talk tonight. We're on the air Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I hope you'll join us next time. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Eccles.